A number of months ago, I was reading through John's Gospel, particularly John chapter 3, where it has that section with Nicodemus meeting Jesus at nighttime because he doesn't want his buddies to know that he's starting to flirt with some of the ideas of Jesus. And I was paying attention to it because I was starting to feel as though my own internal world was feeling similar to Nicodemus. And it's wonderful to be grounded in a tradition. It's wonderful to have a spiritual path, be a part of a denomination. However, Jesus always seems to be just a little bit above and beyond even what organized religion can handle. And as I was looking through this, I was also remembering some things that I had read about conventional. There's pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. Conventional means the agreed upon practices and habits of a group at the expense of individuality. Now, for Nicodemus, he wasn't in pre-conventional. He wasn't maybe a part of a group in earlier life, but then he did join a group, the Pharisees. And maybe at that, he had to give up some of his own individualism in order to belong among the Pharisees. But that's why it's so profound that then he goes and meets with Jesus, and Jesus seems to be inviting him into a post-conventional faith. Which, if we remember, John's Gospel is all about establishing what does faith look like when it's not built around the temple. And if we're being honest, a lot of faith today is often built around a temple. Even churches. If your faith isn't anchored in a building, in a temple, then you're seen as unconventional. But actually, what if John's Gospel and the teachings of Jesus are always inviting us beyond? So for you, have you ever felt as though you were listening to a teaching and you're like, I think I've outgrown this. I think I've already been through this. This doesn't challenge me anymore. I do think it's possible to outgrow the maturity of a certain type. And so I made this. With all of the things that were swirling in me, I made this. Here we go. So I decided to make something, just like a PDF of sorts, but also it's got an audio file. It's a whole hour plus of a commentary talking through John's Gospel, especially John chapter 3, where it talks about Nicodemus. So let me share with you. There's this front page. It's only 10 pages here, but talk through John chapter 3 in its entirety. Talk about gravity points and what does it mean to be maybe outgrowing the maturity of the church that you're a part of. That's scandalous, right? But then I wanted to talk through what is pre-conventional Christianity, conventional Christianity, and post-conventional Christianity. Sharing this with you is part of it, but the audio, I go into this outline even further. And of course, we've got to finish off with this, a very helpful chart that talks about what does it look like to have a pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional faith. So, if you are someone that feels as though you're starting to outgrow the faith you were given, if you're someone that's starting to feel as though your spiritual maturity is maybe legitimately starting to outgrow the faith of the place or the teaching of where you're at, it's actually possible. But that doesn't mean to abandon the path. It doesn't mean to leave it. It means to actually follow the teachings of Jesus even more deeply. Don't abandon the path, commit further to it, because actually, as I've already mentioned, Jesus is always about inviting people into a post-conventional faith. And so that's why this is titled You, Me, and Nicodemus, all right? This is an audio commentary. I hope it matches what you need, okay? So click the link and you'll be able to see it there, all right? Grace and peace.